Okay. All right. Let me
Hey, my sister said she's on there too. Okay, they coming in.
All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go.
Here we go, y'all.
All right, everyone.
What about the
I
music? We need the
I
music.
did, I can't play it. I can't
They
play
can
it.
hear a little bit of it.
I can.
Just a little bit of it.
What's gonna happen is they gonna hear it on Instagram, but they won't hear it on the video. So I can play it
And then go back.
and go back. Yeah,
Okay, okay,
real
okay.
quick, real quick.
Y'all gotta hear out my kids' song, the intro, right? Y'all wanna
Right,
hear the intro, right?
right, right. All right,
Okay.
all right.
Y'all got a chance to hear our song.
That's right. And for all you people on Facebook, YouTube, y'all couldn't hear it. Y'all gonna have to go look it up on PawKids page.
They can go to
Go to
iTunes.
iTunes,
Go to
download it,
iTunes. They can,
stream it,
that's right. That's right.
purchase it.
Purchase it.
All proceeds go to the
Everything
PawKids.
goes to PawKids.
That's right. So you'll be doing a great thing for a great charitable event, for a great charitable a thing. So anyway, we are here with. Oh, my bad. Oh, this computer. Yeah, this is computer. Hold on. Sorry.
We're getting together, y'all.
Okay, there we go.
Okay,
There we
okay,
go. There we go. I got to get over here and use this stuff more often. I'm sorry, y'all. This is totally my fault. So we're back with Tanya Gates. Or are you CEO of Parky?
Of course, CEO and founder.
CEO, founder, Paul Kids. What is it? Paul Kids International.
Not yet.
Yeah, we're
We
gonna
can
we're
take
gonna
it there though. We
we're
can
gonna
take it
speak
there.
into existence.
That's
Paul
right.
Kids
That's
International.
right.
Just came back from a great traveled around. Was it around the world? Well,
No, we went to Puerto Rico,
Puerto
but
Rico.
the spring we are our big plans are to go to Guatemala.
Okay, so they did travel to another country. Took the kids with them. How was that experience with the kids? I don't want to assume that the children that you took has not been out of Atlanta. So, how was that experience? How did they take it
Um,
in?
I can honestly say this summer we are looking at changing a lot of things, but doing a trip with the girls to Puerto Rico, it really is urging me to really look at how we do summer camps next year. So we are making some immediate changes on how we are going to run even the upcoming school year and summer camp. Um, it was more intimate, and I think for what the kids and what our community, what we're going through right now, we need that more than ever. So yeah, but I really got a chance to just hear them, hear what they need, hear their wants, their desires. We did a lot of devotional journaling, and just we worked on ourselves with a lot of like wellness exercises, and I think that's what's missing. Well, I know that's what's missing.
I think so too. I think that you take children to other places, other cultures, it really opens their eyes to different things. It kind of sparks their imagination, which it sparks their creativity. So I think that's a great thing. I think it's great what you're doing. So how long did you guys stay gone?
We left that Monday. We came back that Friday. So I would say right at a week.
A week. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
they got the experience. Did they get to go into the
Oh yeah, we
culture?
toured Old San Juan. I really get I challenged them. They were one day they went in. They were able to talk to like local business owners
Mm-hmm.
to see how they set up their business. They had to ask a lot of questions. We did the history of San Juan. So yeah, we got a chance to do some touring. We also did some hiking, which it was
Mm-hmm.
hot, extremely
Mm-hmm.
hot. Some horseback riding.
Right. Right.
I got bit up by some sandflies. So yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I didn't like
Okay.
that part though, but yeah.
You didn't like that part much. Well, it was a great experience for you too, right?
Oh man, it was again. I'm on this journey lab of like self healing,
Mm-hmm.
so I was able to really take some time and just digest a lot of things I want to change within myself.
Mm-hmm.
So it was good for me too. So I was able to spend some alone time and just meditate, and dream big.
No, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, that's a great thing. I think that's a great thing. So, what does Paul Kids look like for the future right now? Like for
Good
since kids are
question.
starting back to school within the
In
next
less
month,
than 14 days.
14
Right?
days.
Is that not weird?
In the weird August the first, August the first. But for us, people always ask like, what is the big thing for the after school program? What are you guys gonna do? And we're gonna flip this thing and do some things differently this year. Again, I feel like where children of color are right now, if even before COVID, our world has just been like flipped on its head, right?
Right,
And I
right.
feel like we came back, like the kids came back to school pretty much last year, but we didn't address those issues. And so what I see is a lot of trauma,
Mm.
worse than it was pre-COVID.
Right, right.
So we're gonna take a step back and really this year go deep on helping these kids to heal and to build their own relationship with God and to understand who they are. A lot of my girls, what I see, they don't love themselves. These kids, their bodies, like taking care of your body, drinking water, just simple things like that. Your skin, slowing down, resting.
Mhm.
We do it now, but think about if we begin to instill that in kids at their ages, just slowing down. So what I want to see done this year is when you walk into PawKids, we have like meditation stations, quiet stations. A lot of my kids deal with it's a lot of trauma, right? I grew up
Right.
in it too. So a lot of our boys get really angry. And how do you take that out?
Mhm.
So just a different thing. I did this conference with a good friend of mine, and to have those, those swim noodles.
Uh-huh.
So just have like a beach station. They can go outside and just beat it as long as they want to,
Oh, okay.
just to release
okay.
some of that energy.
Release some of that. Yeah. Yeah. I think.
Giving them a place to where they can feel free to do that,
Uh-huh.
and allow kids to be kids. Everything is such on a time schedule. You do this, you do this, and I think that's good. But just having a place they can a quiet place, quiet place.
So how does Paul Kids with like we said with school starting back, how are you going to integrate the program within the school system within the schools? I know you guys have done this before, and I know this is not anything new for you all. But for all the people that may not know how Paul Kids integrates themselves within to the school system and helps the schools as well as the children within the schools, how are you guys going to integrate that when school starts back?
So again, going deep, we work really closely with the schools that are in our neighborhoods, but being there and being seen, and I want the kids to know that their voices are being heard. So working with the parent liaisons, the counselors, the assistant principals, we have a really good communication and connection with the schools. But I want to see parents and teachers work more together. It's going to take a village. It's going to take all of us.
Right.
To make a difference and to really to leave an impact within our community.
Right.
So doing that, we again, and I feel like the teachers have been overlooked. So I'm talking to some of our donors and sponsors and asking them, hey, would you contribute to just doing once a month a gift bag for our teachers? I feel like the media is all on the kids, but we're sending kids into these classrooms and we're not equipping and supporting the teacher. So how do we come along and make sure that that teacher has everything that she needs? Like, basic thing is Clorox wipes or hand sanitizer or diffusers
Oh,
really
right.
big on diffusers
Right.
with some eucalyptus or some peppermint.
Yeah,
I'm serious.
Right.
You know, so supplying class. So we have a Amazon wish list for teachers on our PawKids website. How do we go and how do we support them? Because we support them, it's a better income. I mean, an outcome for our kids.
That is true. That
And
is
a
true.
lot of teachers try to take money to buy supplies for the kids during the year for the ones that don't have it. And
A lot of teachers take their hard-earned money. It's because think about it like this, and I tell people I try to be authentic and truthful as I can. We're 30318, Buckhead to Bankhead, right?
Mm-hmm.
So some of the schools that are on the other side, their PTA funds are huge.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't have a PTA fund. So guess what? The teachers have to fund out of their pockets. And these are
And
first
they
year
can't
teachers.
afford it.
They can't afford it. So how do we support the teachers and come around the teachers? We forget about that.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
they're with our kids 7-8 hours a day.
Sometimes more than us.
Sometimes more than us.
Yeah, I agree. I think the teachers are, in this whole battle what we have going on today with banning books and things of that nature. I think the teacher is forgotten because, I'm 53 years old, but I can remember a few of my teachers that were great teachers, that took their time out with us and showed us some things. And I don't think teachers have that luxury no more.
They don't.
I don't think they have that luxury.
I don't think they're being supported at all.
Right.
Well, I know they're not from what I see.
Right.
I
right.
think we've forgotten about that. Going into a classroom, just something basic like taking the teachers some. I go in classrooms. Like my teachers last year, like hot tea.
Mm-hmm.
They would have like something in their room or just cookies, just a gift bag with just special things in it for them. It's hard.
Oh yeah, it is
really hard.
It is. I think teachers are not appreciated as much as they should be, because they lead the future for our children.
That's right.
They show them the path of which way to go. They help them a lot, and like you said, they are with them a lot more than we are.
That's right.
So as PawKids grows, and we know it's going to grow because it's a great charity. As they grow and things come, let me back up. I know that you guys had an It's not a charity. It's a nonprofit. I'm sorry if I said
driven off of authentic connections.
It's not a charity, you guys.
Hey,
I'm sorry. I
we have a
misspoke
board
about
member
that.
on. We have a board member on the call.
Hey,
Tamara.
It is not a charity. It is a nonprofit that helps within the community. And I'm going to say it properly. I'm going to get the understanding as we go along. I understand that you had an event today that you helped out with. What was that all about? What was going on around here?
We had an amazing event today. So today we went out. Now let me just clarify. Let me just say this. And I know somebody finna get mad in the room, but I always say it took a strong, beautiful girl from the east side to come over here to the west side to get y'all right. So today we went back to the east side. Let me tell you, we debriefed after we did what we like the event today. And it's amazing at the love and the response we got from the east side.
Okay.
Like Decatur just showed us so much. Shout out to Decatur because they can't
be more than the west.
Oh man, Decatur came through. I mean, it felt so good
Right.
to be back home and to serve those kids. In the neighborhood that I grew up in.
Right.
And so we partnered with the Quincy Carter Foundation. And you guys know Quincy Carter was a quarterback for Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
And his story, we'll have him on next time. His story is just amazing. But he ran this football camp. And I've never seen this done before. I'm like, you know what? When Mayor Dickens talk about the year of the youth, we need that.
Okay.
We need to see African-American coaches out, doing scrimmages with these kids and encouraging these kids. It was kids there from 5-year-old all the way up to I think 15-year-old.
Wow.
Hundreds of children on that field being encouraged by parents, teachers. They had people from their high schools. I'm like, we need to bring that to the west side. It was just amazing. So PawKids actually went in and partnered with some of our community partners like Coke United, Chick-fil-A. Shout out to Chick-fil-A. They didn't even know we had T-shirts and little cows, and we brought all of that to the east side, the body armor, the vitamin water. We had kids here from my church, Atlanta West Side, that actually they put 140 book bags together.
Oh wow!
They did 200 snack bags for these kids. So
That's a lot.
that's a lot. I mean, these kids worked and so everything that our youth group did this week we took that back over to Decatur and we blessed kids over in Gresham Park. It was amazing today.
Well, that's great. That's see, always doing things. Always doing things in the shadows,
Yeah.
right?
And that's, we left there. I'm like, God, I thank you because, again, we were able to take our resources and use our privilege to go help another community. And that's the way it should be. We didn't go in and host it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We went in and we helped the organization that was on the ground doing the work that needed help. And that's the way that it should be. That's what makes PawKids so unique and different. Helping that other organization to thrive.
Right.
And we was on the ground working. My whole team. Shout out to our amazing team. We had to get here at 6:15 this morning to pull that event off.
Yeah, I was working.
Y'all
We
was
worked
working
today.
hard.
I mean,
Y'all was
and
working hard.
but it was amazing just to go to another community, uplift that community. But the people who helped to pull this off all week, people from the churches. Like I said, snack bags. Those kids did those snack bags so fast. I mean, shout out to the West Side at Atlanta. Atlanta Presbyterian Church. Atlanta West Side Presbyterian Church. But those kids worked to do that. So, yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. Do you actually feel your impact of PawKids within the community? And like, do you feel the impact that you're making? Like, with what I do, I always say that I quit every day to begin again and tomorrow. So do you actually feel that impact to where it helps you push through? Because sometimes it can get a little daunting when you feel like I don't necessarily, like, it's not benefiting anything or people don't appreciate it. And I'm not saying that they don't, but it can feel like that.
Almost all the time. At least once a week I want to quit. Like, man, I can't take this. I'm too old. I'm too old for this. And I still, hey, I'm still that girl from Decatur. I'm like, hey, God,
Right.
you saved me, but I still got hands. I'm just going to be honest. Some days I want to, like, let's just take this outside. You know what I'm saying? Leave my Bible right here. We can go outside. Then I come back and pick that Bible up. But no, seriously, it's in me. I'm just being honest. I'm that girl. And I grew up fighting. And so sometimes God has to humble me because my mouth can be a weapon.
Right.
A strong weapon, man. There's some things I be wanting to say. Oh my gosh. Have you seen the movie The Help? And that when she gave that lady that pie? So that just had to, in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is me giving her this pie. But it's okay. I'm just gonna be honest. But no, it's days that, that I want to leave. And I feel like as an African American woman, my biggest I had to pray about this and ask God to really help me and show me, because it's like I'm on two sides of it, right? I'm really living from Buckhead to Bankhead.
Right.
White parents, white adopted parents, right? A predominantly white church. My closest friends, my network, my friends, they're white, right? So I'm navigating that world, and then I come to the West Side. The West Side is a little different from the East Side. The poverty, the mindset, and you dealing with that mindset. I'm like, wait a minute, I feel like they're both coming in on me. So I'm like, I'm being closed in. So it's a lot of prayer. And I know why I'm here. I feel like going through training and going through just different leaderships, like I understand the journey that God has put me on. But heck no, it's hard. It's things I want to give up. But the impact is seeing those smiles on those kids' faces. The impact is being on that plane last week and looking at Emiliana, seeing it's her first time flying. We took off. I could feel, man, she was just like,
Really?
and then the smile on her face. I'm like, oh my gosh, just seeing stuff like that. Or last week I was in a car with and if my kids was here right now, they'll tell you, Mr. Tanya will say anything. I cry. I may slip out a word every now and then, you know.
Right.
But last week I was coming back. We was in Puerto Rico, and Kim, one of the girls from the community that's been with me for years, and she's had her ups and downs. But when I tell you, it's like God sends her in right at the nick of time, right? And so she called me. I said, Kim, I'm leaving to come back here, but we're gonna have a event at PawKids. And the first thing she said was, you need me to come clean up and help you, Miss LaTanya? And I got off the phone. I just immediately started. I just busted out crying. And the kids in the car looking at me like, what's wrong with her?
Right.
And I said, y'all, it's things like that people who you think are for you, right? Would be the people who people don't even know who at their lowest. Those are the people I've seen that has really been for me in this neighborhood. Like,
Okay.
Josh and Mike. You know, they're the underdogs. They're the
Mm-hmm.
ones who that walk up and down the street and people look at them, but they're the ones I call late at night, hey, my dog, come help me, y'all. So that's my community.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm so passionate about what I do, because if nobody else loves me, I know that crew loves me.
Right,
And I
right.
love them the same.
And they
So, yeah.
appreciate you, right?
Yeah, and so that's what drives me, you know, to see the drive in some of these parents who I know don't have much, but they love their kids. They just don't have the resources.
Yeah, I think it's a big misconception with our children and our people that we don't take care of our kids and we don't love our kids.
So not true.
And I know that's not true. Even with black
So not
fathers,
true.
I always, people always say, "Oh, black fathers don't take care of their kids," and I don't think that's true. I think that we do. I think we take care of our kids. We do the best that we can for our children. Now, there's some that may not, but you have that in all communities. It's not just ours. Ours is just highlighted so well. But with you being with children, you were telling us something earlier, like we were like, we need to do a podcast with the children. You was like, they be with their families, they be with their fathers. It was like on the weekend. So that in itself, you are in the community. You are with these children. You see their families, their mothers and their fathers, and that you can tell if there's a difference between them not being taken care of and them being taken care of to the best of the parents' abilities. You know what I mean?
I think, and I'm gonna be honest now. I might have some pushback on this, but I think we have been labeled.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I
Exactly.
can remember growing up. I had Anthony when I was 17.
Mm-hmm.
I love my son. I want the best for my son, but that label is on us, and me too. Like just because I had him at 17, that don't mean I don't love him. I don't want the best for my son.
Right.
And
right.
so growing up, we as black women now, we always have had to fight that. And I look at it now, it's like it's the resources that are missing. Had my son not had a chance at Atlanta Speech School or gone to Atlantic Academy or been at Whitfield Academy, he would not be where he is today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it was those resources that was provided for Anthony. That's why it's so important that we pour into these kids and we walk alongside of these kids. We can't save them all. Right. But I promise you it's going to be a handful that's going to come back. Because I was one.
Right. And I think a lot of times we forget that sometimes children, they may lash out, but sometimes they just need a hug. Or they just need...
It's misplaced aggression. It's trauma.
Right.
I grew up a very angry kid. All I knew to do was fight.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I came in this world. All I knew to do was fight. It was survival.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And that's what if you look at it, if you just pull back those layers, that's all it is misplaced aggression.
Mm-hmm. In a very busy world like it is today, and social media and all that, with your children, how do you navigate that part of PawKids when your kids come here and they may be a little upset from something they've seen on social media or someone says on social media to them? Because social media unfortunately plays a big part in all of our lives, and it affects us all daily, whether we know it or not. It does affect us. And as much as we try to say, it's not real, but it still affects us in some kind of ways. And I know that's a whole different animal that you have to wrestle with your children. But how do you and your staff deal with that? Because a child may come in and was fine yesterday, and now today it's a whole happened on social media.
They can be fine 10 minutes is a whole
right.
But honestly, again, and you can't do this in public school. We are big huggers over here. I get into their personal space, right? I feel like energy. I want to feel it, and I love my kids. If you walk in, you will see they're gonna run up and hug you, right? And so sometimes if a kid is going through, one of my babies are going through this, it's a hard time. Sit them down, talk to them. I want to hear what's going on. Listen, it'll come out. They'll tell you.
Listening is the biggest part.
Listening is number one, and allowing them to communicate that to you, or giving them that space. Just give them some space and time.
Okay, I know listening is a big part because Slick has a granddaughter and she loves to talk. I mean, she loves talking. Sometimes you just sit there and you just listen to her, and she gets it all out, and she's good. So I know you'll be amazed what comes out of her, but she gets it out. I think. A lot of us as parents, and I've been guilty of that with my children, not listening. Just not being so busy with the day, work and people and spouses and girlfriends, boyfriends, that we forget to just sit back and listen to our children. A lot of us don't even eat dinner with our children anymore. or watch TV with our children. We give them the food and tell them to go to their room. So
It's the small things that matters, right?
Uh-huh.
So those are the things we do here. Eat, like you said, eating dinner, taking time out.
Mm-hmm.
We had a person come, a parent, and they was like, "Y'all always hugging on them kids."
Mm-hmm.
Man, yeah, these my babies.
Right.
I've been that same kid. I love each and every last one of my kids, and I would. Sometimes I go off on the parents like, "Hey, what you not gonna do is mess with my." Anybody knows she crazy about them kids. Like, that's my family. I love my kids, and that's one reason why I never want to go over 50 kids. You can't leave the impact that I want to leave and I want to see on these kids' lives. We'll never be a big center.
Mm-hmm.
That's not who PawKids is.
Right.
We want to be personal, intentional. I want them to know, like, you know what? We can go to Miss Latanya. We can go to Mr. Anthony. We can go to Miss Lorenzia. We can go to Miss V. The parents too. That matters, especially in Black communities like this.
Right.
That's what has been taken out of it. It's community, that love for each other. Growing up, that's what we had, and it matters.
And you said you don't want. You said something that I kind of want to talk to you about really quickly, and you don't have to go into depth. But you said you don't want to be a big community, a big center. But what if it does happen though? What if it's how do you tamp that down where you're noticed so much that things just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger? Because to be honest with you, I think that's what's happening. I mean, it's a slow boil. A lot of people don't realize it, but yours is starting to bubble up to the top. So what do you do? How do you keep that at bay?
Those boundaries, man, we would help. I think we are not the know-all, bigger is not always better, lab. Better is better. That's our saying right here. Bigger is not always better. I feel like in my relationship with God, like my calling, my leadership, I just don't see it getting bigger. Now what we can do is we can help another program to start, right?
Right.
But the amount of trauma, and if we're gonna deal with breaking generational curses and different things like that, we have to say small and intimate.
But what if God? But I know we all have a relationship with God, and we talk to God because I talk to Him every day, and I ask Him questions every day, and I ask Him to help me every day. But what if that is what He wants you to do?
I don't know. He got to just come with Latanya. Hey! What did I? But I don't know. I mean, and I fight against it, but I just feel like if you was here every day and you understood like the need for these kids, you would understand right now why we can't go any bigger.
Right. And I understand that, but you have to realize that it's a lot more kids that want to feel the same things that you are giving. That PawKids is giving. They want unique. To experience them things. Right. You get what I'm saying? So how do you keep those children at bay that want to experience, let's just say,
word of mouth is a lot.
Right, word of mouth is a lot. How do you keep those kids at bay that want to experience PawKids, that want to experience someone listening to them, hugging on them, telling them they love them, feeding them, showing them, right and wrong, or showing them that you don't have to do this, you can do that. How do you keep that at bay? Because like you said, you love children, and I just can't see you telling a child, "No, you can't come. I have two more children. You just too big." We have
a wait list right now, but honestly, just setting those healthy boundaries. I mean, I feel like I don't know. Another thing too is it costs, right? So raising more money,
right?
It would take to bring in more kids. We need more space, and that would be community. Helping us to come in and do that. But, and PawKids is growing. We have a wait list right now. Even for the summertime, we had to turn kids away. Something the board have to talk. Our board have to talk about. But where my heart is just that intimacy and meeting those kids where they are. I just think bigger is not always better.
And I agree with you.
And I get what you're saying because we are going to make some hard decisions.
Right.
But yeah.
I agree with what you're saying. Bigger is not always better. But at the same time, you just said you love children and you love those kids.
See, Lab, you pushing me over here.
I can't just see. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You got Stormy is on here too.
Okay, I just can't see you, from what I know of you and talk to you, not wanting to help as many children as you can. I just don't see it.
And Lord knows I try. That's why we try to help other nonprofits to thrive. But yeah,
I'm gonna move on from that. I'm gonna move on from it because I'm getting the nod. I'm gonna move on from, but this is just something I just wanted to
We're gonna
ask.
take it. Let's just pray about it.
Yeah, we're gonna pray about it. We're gonna move. We're gonna pray about it, and we're gonna move on to other things. Let me ask you this: we're not gonna stay on here very long because you've had a long day, but I think this will be the last question I ask. Do you have any wants or needs that you need to try to get to? Like you have things that you want to do,
Oh, most.
or some just things you want to do for Paul Kids that you may not have been able to attain yet.
Yeah,
Are
so
those your dreams for your
we got
dreams?
some big dreams coming.
Right.
But right now, I think being a executive director, the things that I see is in fundraising. Honestly, it's easy to say, "Hey, I want to go out and I want to purchase 2 new vans," right? So that money's gonna come, right? And so the thing that my heart's desire at PawKids and people don't know is if you walk through our doors, the people who you see working, the majority of those people they live in our community. You know, they walk to work. They're right here in our community, and I really want to keep that. But raising money for salaries is the hardest thing to do. When you're doing, and it seems like it shouldn't be. But if I wanted to buy that Apple computer that's sitting in front of you,
Right.
somebody will buy it tomorrow. That's just how it is. I haven't figured that out yet. So my thing is, we are really like we have restricted funds for like bikes and different activities at summer camps. But me raising money to keep my doors open for to be able to pay these people a salary so they can take care of their families. We struggle with that. And so right now we're going to take the next few weeks. We got to hit the pavement running. We need help to raise money to pay my people. And if we can't pay the people, guess what? The doors don't stay open. Right?
Right.
So
right.
I want to pay the people from this community. I want to be able to pay people who look like the people who we serve. So that's my number one need going into the school year. And actually, people look at PawKids, it's just a team of 9. That makes this hub run.
Right.
That's a lot of work on our backs.
That's a lot of work.
And
You
hey,
guys
man,
do a
I
lot of
turned 50
things.
this year. I'm getting old. I will be 50 in a few weeks. So I mean, Miss Latanya that don't have that drive like she used to have. I told Lorenzia, I don't think I could run an enrichment center. I don't. I don't have the drive that she has.
Right.
That drive was 10 years ago. And so how do we come around Lorenzia and encourage Lorenzia and her team? We've got to give her a few more staff members, even with those 50 kids. So we've got to raise, and we don't charge the kids, right? We ask them for a donation. Think about it. We had the Puerto Rico trip was over $9,000, and parents only had to pay $125.
Oh wow.
Or some of these summer trips, right? And so we don't get government funding. It's all community. Like people come together and they give their hard-earned money to make this organization thrive. That's what I love. That's what's unique. People giving to keep these doors open. So we've got to come up with some unique ways to really to raise funds to pay my staff and to hire more staff. If we're going to keep it, but 9 people run this organization, and we only have 3 full-time people.
Oh wow.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
When you're running a whole community hub.
Well, you are accomplishing a lot with just such a small staff.
Yeah.
But you said something, and you don't have to, again, don't delve in deep into this, but I'm going to ask the question anyway. Do you think that the fact that so many nonprofits are not doing the things properly is why so many people, especially when it comes to salaries and things, is why so many people are reluctant to give when it comes to salaries? I mean, they'll give, like, they can go out and buy the Apple computer and bring it to you, or they can go out and buy, a couch or some table, pens and pencils, everything that you need. You say you need. They can go out and physically buy that themselves and give it to you. But when it comes to salaries, they don't see. They may see the person you're paying, but they don't know if that salary is what they would want to be paying. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You may have somebody on your team, and they may think that that's your cousin. You just paying them $80,000 a year. You get what I'm saying?
Of course.
So a lot of times, I think that's why people are reluctant, because you do have so many nonprofits that don't do things properly. They don't do
Amen.
things by the book, and unfortunately, that reflects on a lot of ones that are doing great, like you. Like you're doing great in this community. I like I told you before, I drove past this building 100 times and never actually knew what it was until I met you and saw it and saw how great you were doing. So how many great things you were doing within the community. So do you think that reflects negatively on you? And that's why the funding for salaries is so hard to get.
Most definitely. Now you know I'm real honest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, and then with us being a black-led nonprofit.
Right,
too.
right, right.
So it is a stigma, and I have seen that. I look at some nonprofits, I'm like, they could do more.
Mm-hmm.
They're not serving in dignity. That bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
They're not serving in excellence, and I strive off of that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so yes, another thing I feel like I think people would give more if they understood the impact where their money is going to the salaries that we serve over here.
Mm-hmm.
I can't talk about all other nonprofits.
Right,
but
right. Well,
when you think about the people who we hire, the people who work here, the training that goes into this, walk our grounds and you'll see it. And so we not only have hired, the people, but we are empowering our own community.
mm-hmm.
That's what matters to me. I want to see my people be empowered. I want to see my people thrive. I want to see my people own homes in their own community, work and live in their community. We need to go back to how we was. And so that's what makes it so unique with PawKids. You understand what I'm saying? So if people could understand, you're not only helping me to pay somebody, helping us to pay salaries, but you are empowering the people who stay right here in their community and people who look like us.
Yeah.
And I want to keep it that way.
Yeah, I that's one of the great things I always admired about you. You always try to make sure you impact the community in the best way possible, and I think that's great. I think a lot of people just, and I told you this. We've told you this several times. You've got to get out of the community more and let them know what you are doing,
Right,
because a lot of people within the community does not know what PawKids
And we work.
are about.
That's right. And I can say honestly, but again, Lab, think about what I just said.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a hospital,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's like a ER. So we need that help. We just got a PR team and somebody who's gonna do some digital marketing for us to be able, because we're not telling the stories and the impact would blow people's minds. Like
Right.
last year, if you look at our 990 man, we gave away $40,000 in mercy funds, helping people pay their light bills, their rents, little things, home repairs. We believe in that too. We don't talk about it a lot, but I want people to understand the impact and the stories of what we're doing in this community. So you're right. I agree with you on that. We are working on that, but the team is so small. It's like we're in triage mode all the time,
Yeah, I understand that. I just think that a lot more people will get it, understand it, and appreciate it, and be willing to help it more.
They understood most definitely
if they knew what you were doing, because like I told you before, we've drove past it many times, and I just thought it was a daycare. I didn't realize the impact that you were having within the community until I met you and started talking to you. You started showing me things and talking about this and talking about that, and it made me want to help. That's why we do this. I said, well, you're going to do a podcast. That's why we do this, because it made me want to help in a way I just I got to try to do something. We'll figure out some way. And Slick was like, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it. So I'm going to try my best. But
and you know what else? That's sad. I have to say this, I have to admit this. A lot of it is me, because I feel like again, social media, right? And so what happens is you turn on the social media. Not to be honest about this, it's a lot of bragging, but people ain't really putting in what they say they put in.
Right, they're not putting in that work.
And so social media is it's a lot of materialistic things. It's a lie. And so I feel like
for the clout.
They do it. They do it for the clout. And so a lot of things, it's like, I don't want to put myself out there, but we're gonna have to start telling the story. And then again, now I'm a little older, a little bit more mature now, but I look back, I'm like, God, like how did this happen in 9 years? You took one crack house, you multiplied this thing into a whole community hub. So that story, and it's just not me. It's a community of people, so we do have to tell that story. We're going to focus on that this year, and I think people will get enjoyment out of that. It's powerful, man. It's a movement.
Yeah,
people who don't look like me, some of my closest friends who come in and hard work. Miss Terry, I mean,
I've seen
Tracy
them.
and Mary Kay
I've seen them
and
here.
people. I mean, they're blood, sweat, and tears that go into this, and so we do need to tell that story. And I think it's a unique thing going on. I'm just not saying that because I work here or I serve here, but it's very unique what's going on the west side of Atlanta on this little corner. You know,
It is. It's a lot of great things that go
a lot
on
of great things
in this on this
and
corner.
it can show Atlanta that it can work. It can happen.
It can because I've come over here and just seen kids just playing basketball in the yard, just hanging out somewhere to go other than
Somewhere
the
safe.
parking lot
Right.
of the BP, just
Right.
somewhere to go. I think that is a great thing. I just think you just like you said, you need to get that story out. And there's ways to go on social media without having to worry about all that other stuff.
Yeah.
You just have to know how to navigate it. Like say she get up at 1:00 in the morning and post her stuff. That may be the time you have to do it. You may have to get up early and post it and get off of it. Just let them know what you're doing or whatever and get off of it. But unfortunately nowadays you can't have any type of nonprofit business or anything without social media. It just doesn't work anymore.
doesn't work anymore.
The street teams and people putting out flyers and passing out cards works too. But for some reason, you can't have one without the other. It just doesn't work. And I know what you mean about social media. I get that way sometimes too. With what I do in business, I get frustrated too. Like how can they afford all that and I can't afford nothing? You know what I mean? How can they do that and I can't afford this? But I also know that I'm here to do a lot more things. So, and I think that you are too. And you just have to keep pushing.
My heart is pure, and we get a lot of pushback because people really don't, like you said, people don't know what we do, how we do it. So we're judged a lot. She got her kids down there; they're spoiled. Totally, my kids work. I don't know what I would do without them. I give them a hard time. Cussed them out this morning. Cussed them slam out this morning.
Right.
But I love my kids. I could not make it work without my children, without my team.
And I've seen them work. They work.
They work.
I've seen them.
What Lorenzi has done this summer with that summer camp, and people call me, where y'all going this week? I really don't know.
Mm-hmm.
How many kids going on there? I really don't know.
Right.
It's her program. I have put it in her lap. She's toted that thing, and she has done a phenomenal job with summer camp. It's a lot of weight, and I love them. I appreciate them. My whole team, we could not make it. And that's another thing too. Think about Black family. Mm-hmm. Look at the Cosbys. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
We really have a Cosby family right here on the west side doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
That's not. These kids, college educated kids, they could be doing something else.
A lot more things.
Quite sure making way more money, but they're here giving it. They
right.
could seriously,
right.
and so
agree.
they're here. And I don't take that for granted. Sometimes they probably think I do because I come down so hard on them, but I love my kids.
All right. Well, it's been wonderful talking to you.
Thank you.
We will do this again. Not next week, week after.
Yes.
We'll maybe have a guest on.
So the next time we will have Quincy Carter on. He's going to come on and do an interview with us
and talk about some things and move and try to move this thing forward. I thank you for taking the time out. I know you had a very busy day today, so I thank you for taking the time out.
And let me say thank y'all for coming out. You don't have to come down here and do what you're doing.
Yeah, but I told you.
Appreciate that.
I told you once I saw what you was doing, I had to be involved some kind of way. And I had to drag Slick in here too. So
Slick in here too. That's right, Slick.
So we can see what's going on. But yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing for our community and our children, especially our children, because me personally, I have a big, big heart for children. I think children are the best thing going. And it hurts my heart when I see children struggling because I went through that too. So I thank you for that. I appreciate it, and I hope you keep pushing forward and don't get discouraged.
Hey, Mama Vinny. I see Mama Vinny on here.
Hey. All right, you guys. We're going to talk to you guys later.
Thank
PawKids
y'all.
out.